Well, hello, my beautiful, fearless ones. So today, we're not going to do makeup. I wanted to talk about the concert that I went to because I said I was going to do a video about it. It wasn't super eventful. Like, there wasn't a lot of things that just, like, went wrong, or there wasn't just a lot of things that happened, but I did want to talk about it because it was a little surprising. And there were some things that happened that, I don't know, that need to be talked about, I guess. But the concert that I went to was Motionless in White with Lorna Shore, and then the other two bands were Static Dress and Fit for a King. So the order of the bands was Static Dress, and then Fit for a King, and then Lorna Shore, and then Motionless in White. Now, I bought the tickets for Motionless in White because an old friend of mine, who isn't really a friend anymore, but we're going to call them a friend, their favorite band was Motionless in White, and then they had told me about they had fallen in love with Lorna Shore, and so the idea of these two bands, like their two favorite bands going on tour, I was like, yes, 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 and I got tickets for them because, well, okay, I was kind of into Motionless in White after hearing a little bit of their music. And then when Afraid of the Dark came out, I heard that and I was like, oh, I've got to go. Like, I definitely want to see them. Definitely want to go to a concert. And found out they were playing somewhat close to me. Like, it's not like in my town. It's not super, super close, but at the same time, it's within a day of driving, right? So we saw them at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. It's close to Denver, Colorado. But anyway, but I bought the tickets to see Motionless in White. I kind of thought going into it that I was just gonna sit through Lorna Shore and like the other bands and just kind of be like bored through the whole thing until we got to Motionless in White. That was absolutely not the case. I will say, as you can see, if you can see, I absolutely fell in love with Lorna Shore at that concert. Like, I was not a fan. I still wouldn't call myself a deathcore fan. I'm not really a big fan of the music, but there's something about Lorna Shore's music that just like speaks to my soul, and I can't even explain it to you. You see them live and it just does something for you. Like, it's healing. I don't know how. I can't explain it. It's magical. It's just magical. And they don't even do very much. Like, you know, compared to Motionless in White, and I'll get to that in a minute, because they don't wear makeup. They don't really dress up. They don't have a lot of props that they use. They're basically just musicians and, you know, singing into a microphone. And, you know, they do, I don't want to say like they don't dance. They're not like, you know, like a Britney Spears. They don't have dancers. They don't have, you know, it's just them, you know, playing instruments and singing. But it's just the energy of the music and the tones. And Will Ramos, who is the lead singer of Lorna Shore, has just such a great energy about him that it's enchanting, and it is very charismatic, and it gets your attention real quick. And he's just delightful. He is absolutely delightful. Loved him. I didn't think I was going to enjoy them as much as I did. I really, really don't. I mean, listen, I was listening to the music. I knew a couple of their songs, a couple of names of the songs, but I didn't know any of the songs. Like, I couldn't tell you. I mean, they said the name of the song before they played it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known what song it was. I couldn't hear him singing hardly any of the lyrics. Like, I don't know the lyrics. I can't make out the lyrics. I bought a CD to listen to. I still can't make out, like, other than like Glenwood, I can't really make out hardly any of the lyrics, you guys. I enjoy the music. I really can't make out much of the lyrics. Which, like I said, I still love them. I still would absolutely go see them in concert again. I would love to go see them in concert again. That was a big surprise to me, number one. Number two, the other big surprise was the Motionless in White part. I did not expect. Now, I've been to concerts before. I've been to quite a few concerts before. I don't think I've been to any concerts where you're not just there for a concert, but they actually put on a show. Like, it's not just a concert, it's a show. And they had dancers, they had theatrics. It was like they had a whole stage. They had I think it's pyrotechnics. They had fireworks. They had like all this stuff. Like Motionless in White, they really are going all out with this Sweat and Blood tour. If you get a chance to see them, I highly, highly recommend seeing them. If you get the chance to see them, if they play near you. I know that their summer tour just ended. They're breaking it up into like a summer tour and a fall tour. So Lorna Shore was with the summer leg. So unfortunately, if you see them this fall, it's going to be different bands. But I mean, I actually think that that's nice, because then, you know, you get, if you see them in the summer and the fall, you get kind of a different variety. And I think summer and fall have different vibes to them. So, you know, I think that'll be nice. But just try and see them. You're not going to be disappointed. The price of the ticket, it's absolutely worth your money. Motionless in White listen. I don't want to say they're going to blow your mind, because if you're a fan of Motionless in White, of course, like, you're going to love the songs that they play. Like, you're going to enjoy the show. You're really going to enjoy it, but it is going to be worth your money. And the other bands, if you know any of them or you're already a fan of them too, obviously then you're going to get even more for your money. But even if you're just buying it for the Motionless in White show, you're going to get more than what you're paying for the show. Like, believe me on that. They go above and beyond for their fans. The show that I went to, Chris Motionless, the lead singer of Motionless in White, actually said that he was recovering from a respiratory infection, this poor guy, because I don't know if y'all know this, but Colorado is there's parts of Colorado that are high and mountainous, and Red Rocks Amphitheater is in a part of Colorado that is mountainous, and it is like 7,000 feet above sea level, something like that. It's pretty high up, right? You got to climb a lot to get into that amphitheater. I had to work my butt off to get up in that amphitheater. Listen, I'm very out of shape. Even if I were to have tried to get into shape, like anyway, this poor guy, I hope that they had cars or something to get him up there, because if this man had to walk all the way up there, it's like you have to hike like a mile up a mountain to get entrance into the amphitheater area. And he's recovering from a respiratory infection, and he still came out and sang, and he sang well. And then he came out and fist bumped everybody in the first and second rows, which I was lucky enough to be in one of the technical first rows, because it was like there's the stage, and then there was a walkway in front of it, and then there was they have a special reserved area for handicapped people who can't climb upstairs, or if you're in a wheelchair, that kind of seating. And then the first actual row of amphitheater seating, and that's where I was. And so Chris Motionless came out and fist bumped all of us in like the second row, and I was lucky enough to get fist bumped by Chris Motionless. That made my entire night. Like, that made my entire night right there. But it was a great show. It was an absolutely great show. He was the only one out of all of the bands that actually came to both sides of the stage. I will say we were on the left side of the stage, and he made an effort to go to both the left side and the right side and the middle. He didn't just stay in the middle. Some of them, due to equipment, like Lorna Shore, Will Ramos didn't because they had equipment and they had band members on both sides, and it was kind of, their space was kind of closed in a little bit, so he really couldn't move very much. They had this big long runway thing where the singers or whoever could stand up on them and walk along it on the stage, but it wasn't super long. It didn't go extend the whole length of the stage, and there's that. So I'm not going to fault any of them for that, but I will say that I was very, very happy with that. Motionless in White, this is their 20th year of being a band, of putting out albums, of doing this, and it was great to get out and support them. It was a wonderful night. I am so, so glad that I went. It was amazing. We had a lot of drunk people around us, people getting up and getting alcohol all the time, people who were smoking. Well, in Colorado it's not illegal, but in some states it's an illegal substance, and just having a good time, basically. And one thing that was mentioned by most of the bands, because it is Motionless in White, especially Lorna Shore. Will Ramos did mention, he goes, we are a mosh band. Like, usually we have a mosh pit, but since we're in an amphitheater, we don't. So, which was kind of weird. But everybody was really, really nice at the concert, I have to say. And it was a very fun experience. I highly, highly recommend. Motionless in White puts on a fantastic show. I actually have the chance to see them again in the fall, and I may go see them again. I'm not completely sure yet. But I will say Lorna Shore is now going to tour Europe and other parts of the world. They're not going to be in the U.S. for the foreseeable future. I haven't seen any other U.S. dates, I don't think. I don't think. I think they're going to be in different countries, but believe me, the next time they do a U.S. tour, hopefully they will come back to Denver, and I will absolutely, absolutely go to that concert, because I cannot wait. They put on a heck of a show, and the thing is, like, Motionless in White puts on a great show. They all sing very well. Justin does his thing, goes back and forth. They sang Rip, and they had what's her name? Of course, I would blank on her name right now. But they had her come on and sing it with Chris. And they had it set up like a Romeo and Juliet on the stage. And it was so beautiful, you guys. It's a very, very special, it's a very special thing to go see. They put a lot into this tour and into their shows this time. I can't speak for other tours, for other shows, because I haven't seen them live before. But as a first timer, like for this being like my first time seeing them live, I will absolutely go see them again. Very, very, very much. It was such a wonderful experience for me, and I can't wait to go see them again. We didn't really have, I will say, we got in there, well, it did take a while to get in there. The line was, it's hard to explain, but the line to get up the mile of a mountain was like a mile long, and by the time we got up there, the line to get into the merch tent was backed up probably all the way up into the amphitheater. It was packed, you guys. Like, it took forever to get anything. As you know, if you've ever been to a concert, like, merch lines tend to be very, very long, right? Before and after the show, and it can take a minute to get in there. But it was pretty impressive. It was very, very impressive. I didn't get any Lorna Shore merch at the concert because it was also very hot. Like, it was August 9th. So not only are you like 7,000 feet above sea level, you're in August, which is the hottest month of the year. You're in a heat wave that is hitting the whole country. And I had to wear, because I had to dress up. It wasn't just, going to this concert, but I also had to wear I was wearing a long sleeve black shirt, and then I put like a fishnet thing over it. And the thing, basically what I was wearing in the makeup video for the makeup that I did for the concert, and then my fishnet gloves that I had on, and I wore that when I was hiking up there, and it was it was hot for a while. It was very, very hot, and I did do, you know, makeup going into the show, and my makeup actually lasted the whole time, so it which was impressive. But I was very impressed. I have never been to Red Rocks Amphitheater. We did end up getting some, well, I got some little like chicken tenders and like some ranch and barbecue sauce. They were absolutely delicious. 10 out of 10 was really, really good. They do have some strict rules, but like they're not, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say that they're not super, super enforced, because they are, but they're not. Like, you know, you can take in drink. Just make sure you read the what's allowed into the amphitheater before you go up there. And you know, I do have to say, like, they told us not to bring in anything inflatable to, that was one thing that was on the website. Nothing inflatable that can be thrown around in the audience. And then Motionless in White, towards the end of their show, they had these big, huge beach balls that they brought out and they tossed into the audience, and they wanted it to get all the way up to the top of the amphitheater. And I just thought that was a lot of fun. And, you know, I am very curious to know, too, if y'all have ever been to a Motionless in White concert, if you're a fan of Motionless in White or Lorna Shore. I know a lot of people are fans of Lorna Shore. Everybody that I've talked to, they tell, you know, I went to a Lorna Shore concert, they're like, oh my gosh, I love Lorna Shore. And it's so funny to me because, you know, before my old friend had said anything to me about them, I would have been like, who, like, what even is that? Like, who is that? And now it seems like they're like this unknown band, but who is also like the highest selling band, you know, this, you know, it's almost, I don't want to say they've gone viral, but it just seems like they are just so popular. They went from almost being completely unknown to like everybody knowing them almost overnight. And I mean that's really cool. And they seem very, very nice. Will Ramos seems like a very, very nice guy. Chris Motionless also seems very, very nice. He came by, like I said, and fist bumped people in the first row and all of the handicapped people, which I thought was very, very sweet of him. They also came and handed out sunglasses to the handicap row and like the first row. And then at the end of the show, they tossed out roses into the audience. They didn't come and like hand them out, but they tossed them out from the stage. So, which is very, very cool. It's an experience. It's a very, very cool experience to go see. They all wear makeup. They all have their own little characters that they go into, I guess. And they have dancers. They have all kinds of things that they do. And it's quite a production. It is quite a production they put on. And I do highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Lorna Shore, same thing, 10 out of 10. Very much recommend. Static Dress was very unfamiliar to me. I will say the lead singer had a lot of energy. He came out right off the bat. They started the show off and he came out with a lot of energy, which I think you have to do when you start a show off. I think you have to come out with a lot of energy in order to get the crowd like ramped up and to get them going and excited. And I think that can be difficult to do. But he did it. I mean, he came out. They are a band from the UK. Like, I had never... I mean, I want to say that maybe I'd seen their symbol or something. I don't think that I have, though. They had a couple of songs that I thought were really, really good. He was really funny, though. He threw his microphone up in the air, and it got pretty high. And then he went to catch it, and he missed it. He did that a couple of times. He caught it most of the time, but there were, like, the first time, he definitely did not catch it. And then Fit for a King, the guitarist would toss his guitar around himself, and he would move with it like you would with a hula hoop almost, except it was going like this around him. That was very cool to watch too. And then when that song was done and he was done doing that, he actually changed up the guitar, which I don't know. But they put on a really good show. It was a very good set of bands to choose from. I thought the weather was really, really nice. The environment was really, really nice. The amphitheater was packed. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So if I'm lucky enough to see Motionless in White again this fall, I will have to do another video letting y'all know, because it'll be Motionless in White. I'm pretty sure it will be like the same show. I know they play like different songs every, like they don't play exactly the same songs in exactly the same order everywhere they go, but I know that they put on a great show. So I'll have to let y'all know how that goes and what I think of the other bands that are opening for them, because I believe it's 3 completely new bands. I don't think it's Static Dress, Fit for a King. I don't think either one of those are with them. I know Dark Divine is with them, and I can't remember the other 2, but yeah, I would highly recommend seeing them if you can. Definitely worth your money. If you're a fan of their music, it's definitely worth the money. Yeah. Even if you have to hike a mile to get into an amphitheater or to get into a place, and almost get sick from not drinking water, it's definitely worth it. I had a great time, and I didn't drink at all. I didn't have any alcohol. So, yeah, let me know if you have ever seen Motionless in White in concert. Let me know if you're a fan of Motionless in White, what your favorite album is, what your favorite song is. If you have a favorite member of the band, I'm curious about that too, and why. And let me know, like, if you have a favorite song, let me know why it's your favorite song. Let me know if you have ever seen Lorna Shore live. If you have a favorite song, album, let me know about that too, and let me know why. I'm really curious as to y'all's thoughts. You know, I'm pretty new to Lorna Shore. I'm pretty new to both of these bands, but definitely newer to Lorna Shore. Like I know a lot more of Motionless in White songs than I do of Lorna Shore. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think of either one of those bands, or Static Dress or Fit for a King. I know very, very little about either one of those. So let me know all of the things in the comments below. I would say I would let you know what I am wearing, but as you can tell, maybe you can't tell, I'm not wearing anything. So I'm sorry for the no makeup video today, but I wanted to go ahead and do this video before I forget everything about the concert. It was a great night. It was a great night. It feels like it was just like a couple days ago. It still baffles me that it's the end of August, and this concert was on the 9th. It was like towards the beginning of August. Like it feels like it was just a couple days ago. It really does. I don't know why time is moving so fast. So, yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. Yeah, like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content's gonna pop up over here on this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I love y'all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!